It was 6 a.m. when the pounding on our front door shattered the quiet of our suburban Virginia home. My wife, Ellen, stirred faintly beside me, her face pale from the C-section she'd endured just 3 days earlier. Our newborn daughter, Lily, slept soundly in her bassinet, swaddled in a soft hospital blanket that still carried the faint scent of antiseptic. I kissed Ellen's forehead and whispered, "Stay in bed, sweetheart. I've got this." But as the knocking grew louder, more like a battering ram than a neighborly tappy, felt a knot tighten in my gut. I'm a retired Marine, trained to face threats most people can't imagine, but nothing prepared me for what was waiting on the other side of that door. Peering through the peephole, I saw Cynthia Hargrove, the HOA president, standing on my porch like she owned the neighborhood. Her navy blazer was crisp, her eyes cold as steel, flanked by 2 HOA board members and a nervous-looking man in a cheap suit clutching a clipboard. I opened the door halfway, keeping my body in the frame. "What's this about, Cynthia?" She shoved past me, her heels clicking on our hardwood floor. "We're here to take the child," she declared, pointing at Lily's bassinet. The words hit like a grenade. Ellen's voice trembled from the bedroom. "James, what's happening? Is Lily okay?" I held up a hand to calm her, my eyes locked on Cynthia. "You've got 10 seconds to explain before I throw you out." Cynthia's lips curled into a smirk. "According to HOA regulations, your unconventional household violates community standards. Unmarried cohabitation, absent father, no financial stability. This child needs protection." The man in the suit, Walter Finch, snapped open his clipboard. "Child Protective Services has concerns about an unstable environment," he mumbled, avoiding my gaze. "Unstable?" I barked. "We've been married for 5 years." Cynthia snapped back, "Different last names. No legal proof. At best, cohabitation. At worst, fraud." She stepped toward the bassinet, peering at Lily like she was inspecting a piece of property. "Poor thing. Born into chaos," she muttered, loud enough for Ellen to hear. Ellen staggered into the hallway, clutching her incision, her voice shaking with fury. "You don't get to talk about our daughter." Cynthia whirled, her voice icy. Emotional volatility. Another red flag. New mothers must be composed, legally bound to a stable paternal figure. I stepped between them, fists clenched. "Back away from my family." Cynthia didn't flinch. She waved a manila folder like a weapon. "Your absences, Mr. Carter. Months overseas. Military or abandonment, it's the same result: a ghost father. And her." She jabbed a finger at Ellen. "No job, no nursery, no proof of fitness." My blood boiled. "You've been spying on us, building a case. You planned this." "I enforce standards," Cynthia spat. "Families like yours drag down property values." I towered over her, my voice a low growl. "Get out, or I swear." She cut me off, smiling. "Threatening violence? I'll add that to the report." The room crackled with tension, like a fuse about to blow. Then it happened. I turned to check on Ellen, just for a second, and Cynthia struck. A sharp pain exploded at the base of my skull. I stumbled, gripping the coffee table, my vision blurring. She stood there, panting, clutching a digital thermometer, its metal back now bent from the impact. "You lunatic," I growled. "You hit me with a thermometer?" "You turned your back on an active welfare investigation," she sneered. "Consider it a correction." Blood trickled down my neck, but I didn't lose control. I grabbed Lily's flannel blanket from the couch, spun it like a rope, and hooked it around Cynthia's neck. With a quick yank, I pulled her off balance, wrapped the blanket around her shoulders, and swept her legs out from under her. She hit the floor with a thud, gasping. In one fluid motion, I pinned her wrist with a diaper clip, securing her in a hold only a Marine would know. "This is restraint," I said, leaning close. "This is what happens when you swing metal at my head in my home." Walter Finch panicked, stammering. "This is highly irregular." "So is attempted kidnapping," I shot back. The 2 HOA board members, Helen and Mark, stood frozen by the door, their faces pale. Ellen staggered forward, pleading, "James, don't make it worse." I met her eyes, softening. "I'm making it stop." Tires screeched outside. "Police. Open up," a voice bellowed. I looked down at Cynthia, still writhing under the blanket. "You should have left when you had the chance," I whispered. The door burst open, and 2 officers stormed in, hands on their holsters. They froze at the sight, Cynthia pinned to the floor, Ellen trembling, and me standing calm, hands raised. "Step away from the woman," the older officer said. "Gladly," I replied. "That's your intruder." Cynthia Hargrove, HOA president, broke in, assaulted me, tried to take our newborn. Ellen sobbed. They said we weren't married, that we couldn't keep Lily. I pointed to the coffee table, where our marriage certificate, my military ID, and Ellen's nursing license sat in a neat stack. Everything they lied about is right there. A voice called from the porch. She's telling the truth. Mrs. Dorothy, our elderly neighbor, stepped inside, holding her phone. I saw it all. Cynthia struck James first. I've got video from the first knock to the diaper pin. Cynthia exploded. You meddling fool. You're just bitter about your tacky lawn ornaments. Dorothy didn't blink. And you're mad you got tied up with a baby blanket. The older officer's lips twitched, almost a smile. Ma'am, he said to Cynthia, you're under arrest for trespassing, assault, and attempted child endangerment. As they cuffed her, Cynthia shrieked. This is a family community, and they don't belong. I stepped forward, voice low. You're right. Families like ours fight back. Cynthia's reign didn't end in our living room. By noon, patrol cars lined our street. Detectives, legal observers, and a CPS supervisor arrived after Dorothy's video spread like wildfire. An officer pulled me aside. This isn't isolated. Cynthia's been targeting families for years. He showed me a tablet listing names Rodriguez, Lee, Thompson, all harassed with false CPS reports, all non-traditional families. My stomach churned. She wasn't just a bully, she was a predator. In the weeks that followed, the truth unraveled. Helen and Mark, the HOA board members, confessed Cynthia had orchestrated an emergency meeting to target us, ranting about those people ruining the neighborhood. The DA built a case. Harassment, assault, false reports, civil rights violations. The courtroom was packed. Neighbors, reporters, families Cynthia had tormented. She sat at the defense table, her face a mask of defiance. The prosecutor didn't hold back. Miss Hargrove, why did you believe the Carter family was unfit? Cynthia's voice was cold. Different last names, no ring, a fragile woman, an absent man. No child deserves that chaos. Ellen gasped. I gripped the bench, fighting the urge to stand. The prosecutor pressed. And the other families? Rodriguez, Lee, Thompson. Cynthia smirked. Interracial households confuse children. Foreign names don't assimilate. Single parents breed instability. Facts. The courtroom erupted. Even the judge, a stern woman with decades on the bench, looked stunned. Do you believe only white, married, English-speaking couples are fit to parent? The prosecutor asked. Cynthia didn't hesitate. I believe in tradition, stability. Most of those families lacked it. I couldn't stay silent. I stood, voice shaking. You tried to destroy us because we didn't fit your narrow, hateful version of America. The judge banged her gavel. Mr. Carter, sit down. I obeyed, but my words hung in the air. The jury saw her for what she was, a bigot cloaked in HOA rules. After 4 hours, they returned, guilty on all counts. The judge's voice was steel. Ms. Hargrove, you used your position to terrorize families, to break mothers at their most vulnerable. You failed. You'll serve 28 years, no parole for 15. Cynthia's mask cracked. As she was cuffed, she spat at Ellen. Your daughter will grow up broken. Ellen stood, voice steady. She'll grow up free from you. Outside, reporters and neighbors cheered. I held Ellen and Lily, breathing freely for the first time since that knock. The neighborhood transformed. The HOA dissolved, replaced by a diverse council. We rewrote the bylaws. A family is any home built on love, stability, and respect. Ellen returned to nursing, earning a promotion. I started consulting on HOA abuse cases, helping others fight back. Lily turned one, clapping at butterflies in our backyard, safe and loved. The families Cynthia targeted thrived. Rodriguez's kids won scholarships. Lee's bakery flourished. Thompson's son became class president. Cynthia thought she could erase us. She only made us stronger. This wasn't just about one woman's hate. It was about standing against anyone who uses power to divide. We didn't just survive, we built something better. What does this story stir in you? Was I right to fight back with force, or should I have stayed calm? How do you face injustice in your life? Share your thoughts below. Let's talk about what it means to stand up when the world feels unfair. Your voice matters.